In this video, we're going to talk about formal charge. Formal charge is a calculation, and we calculate it by taking the valence electrons minus the number of bonds minus the lone pair electrons. So let's do an example so we can see how this works. I'm going to draw the Lewis structure for nitrate. Now, nitrate is going to have 5 valence electrons from nitrogen, plus 6 valence electrons for oxygen, but we have 3 of them, plus 1 valence electron because of the charge. So that is going to give us 24 valence electrons. My nitrogen is going to go in the middle. I will have 3 oxygens around the outside. Bond each of the oxygen to the nitrogen. That's going to account for 6 bonding electrons. So I'm going to have 16 valence electrons left over. Nope, that is 18. That makes more sense. I was wondering where my other 2 electrons went. So all of these electrons can go around the oxygens. Now I can check to see if my octets are fulfilled. All of the oxygens look good. Nitrogen is missing 2 electrons. So I can take 2 of the electrons from oxygen and form a double bond. Now I know that oxygen likes to have 2 bonds, so it's going to be happy. I also have that oxygen is going to be happy, but I have 2 oxygens that don't have 2 bonds right here. So let's calculate the formal charges for these different oxygens. Formal charge is calculated by taking the number of valence electrons for oxygens, that's 6, minus the number of bonds, that was going to be 1 bond, minus the lone pair electrons. And this oxygen right here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lone pair electrons. Notice it says lone pair electrons, not lone pairs. So the formal charge for this oxygen is going to be -1. If you have a formal charge on an atom, you're going to write out the formal charge and then circle it. 2 of these oxygens look the exact same. So if this oxygen with 1 bond and 6 lone pairs is going to have a -1 formal charge, then that means the other one is going to as well. So I can draw that formal charge in right there. Now I can check the formal charge for my other oxygen. I assume that it's going to be happy because it has 2 bonds, but let's check it out. We have 6 valence electrons minus 2 bonds minus 4 lone pair electrons, and that's going to give us a formal charge of 0. If you have a formal charge of 0, you do not need to write it in unless I explicitly ask. So that's not necessary. We don't need to do that. Finally, let's look at the formal charge of nitrogen. My formal charge of nitrogen has 5 valence electrons, and we have 4 bonds in this structure, and we have 0 lone pair electrons. So the formal charge on nitrogen is going to be +1. So I'm going to draw a plus and circle it for the formal charge. Notice that the formal charge for this entire thing is going to add up to -1, which is good because I know nitrate has a -1 charge. So if you have a charge on your structure, then you need to include the brackets around your entire structure, as I have done here, and then the charge needs to be put outside of the bracket. Let's look at one more example. Go ahead and draw the Lewis structure for O3 and give the formal charges for each atom. Notice that there is not a charge on O3, so the formal charges should add up to 0. Go ahead and try this one. You can ask me if you have questions.